views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
It's you, Mike.
Oh, we're live in lovely downtown Philipsburg, New Jersey, episode 4 of Politicast. Today's guests are Dustin Pierce and Pete Marino, councilmen currently in Philipsburg, New Jersey, and are up for re-election. Actually, all 5 spots are up for grabs right now. It's a crazy time, right? To have all 5 going at one time.
Very crazy.
Yeah, so before we get started with the show, and I have some questions, done some research, why don't you guys both, Pete, we'll start with you. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, you're really talking to the voters of Philipsburg. Most of them know who you are. You've been in service for a long time. But regardless, give us a little bit of background on yourself.
Years ago, I was started on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. 11 or 12 years, somewhere around there. We'll go back about 18, 20 years ago. I was on the Philipsburg School Board of Education. Then I decided to run for town council. So we were on council back in the 2000, 2002. Then I took a little bit of break. Family didn't want me to come out of retirement politics, but I love it because I believe in my town, born and raised there. We have a large family. I'm a father of 2 daughters, grandfather of 3 grandsons, great-grandfather of 2 great-granddaughters, uncle to many, great-uncle to many more. So, and I always wanted to better our town. I had 33 years in the Philipsburg post office. There's not a street or alley I haven't walked or met people. Years ago, Philipsburg was a vibrant town. Today, it's coming back. Just last week, one of the members of Downtown Emergency, I don't like to use names, I just like to give you a title. He even said the last 3 months how many businesses have opened in the town of Philipsburg, and this is something great. Now we're going to talk downtown. I love downtown Philipsburg. I call it the crown jewel of Philipsburg, Union Square.
I call it lovely downtown Philipsburg, New Jersey, and I say that every time.
I agree with you. My wife always says, why do you go downtown? I love downtown Philipsburg. I was born and raised down there. Like I said, I did 33 years in Philipsburg post office. And when I retired, we carried the Eastern Express, now it's defunct as a paper, for 14 years. Most of it in the town of Philipsburg, Hillcrest, Stellar Heights, what we call the First Town section, Purcell Hill. And it's seen a lot. Now, to those who know me, I'm pro-police. 2 brothers, 3 nephews in the town. So we had someone on council say, what do you know about police? Well, I'm not a police officer, but they've been police officers in this great town since 1969. Other councilman brought up all the years he had at corrections with the state of New Jersey. He's an engineer. I don't know what an engineer does working in a prison, neither do I, but I did visit one because I have a brother who retired, a nephew, and a grandson who worked for the same prison out of Mountain View, I guess they call it now. And that grandson went on to become a Port Authority cop. Son-in-law, chief of police. So law enforcement is to my heart for this reason. I'm probably the only guy in the town of Philipsburg that was involved in politics that 2 years ago went and talked to the prosecutors. An old, lonely councilman with all these prosecutors and their assistants. And I told them about the crime in this town, and I wanted it cleaned up. Told them if they didn't put the 2 canines back in the budget, they would never see them again. Luckily, they did put the 2 canines in. Luckily, with the support of the current mayor and a couple of council people, we have the largest police department in the county. Philipsburg has the largest. Why do I say this? Because if you've been around a lot of things I've done, they'll tell you, people, where all the crime and drugs were. They come from an area, I won't say where, they cross the Free Bridge, they know there's a liquor store on the left-hand side, they know they go up North Main to Broad Street, cut in Judd Alley, and down Rose Street. They don't tell you the streets, but I know the streets. That's where there's a lot of drug activity. And if we didn't do the things we did, So we're people who didn't take the step out. Where would we be? A town of under 16,000 people with the major crime we had. I can't remember in my lifetime 2 murders committed in the town of Philipsburg in 1 year, let alone the perpetrators weren't from the town of Philipsburg. So, and I want to go back to my years on school board. Whenever there was kids, and handicapped, disabled kids, special needs kids was my forte. Give them a break. So one day I'm watching a chip show or out in LA. They don't give the kids initials. They give them numbers. So I go to the superintendent. This might be crazy, might be wacky. No kid in Philipsburg should be titled by their initial. Small town without an airport, everybody knows who that child is. Let's start giving them numbers. He did. And these might be small accomplishments to most, but to me, to protect those kids means a great deal. 1949, there was a polio epidemic. I was a victim of that. 1955, we had that big flood downtown that everybody remembers.
Right across the street.
Right across the
street. See you
street.
right out my office window.
A week after that flood in that, I had to go to Easton Hospital for shoulder surgery, right? So the years went by. Now we're doing newspapers, teenagers. Cross the Bailey Bridge, to those who remember that. I know a lot of people don't like history, but without history, we don't have a town, we don't have a county, we don't have a state, we don't have a country, we don't have a nation. And I can remember running across that Bailey Bridge because it shook. And we're down in Union Square. Union Square, I just love this area. I think it's the crown jewel of Philipsburg. If you get it a chance to clean it up and survive, it's going to be good. Again, I'll go back to law enforcement. We've given this department now, which they didn't have helmets, they call them long guns, and the numbers. Hopefully, as we get out of that reactive state and we get into that proactive state, which we're going to do, we have the personnel, and it's going to come. That's my history. That's my love of the town. And to anyone to defy that I talk too much, well, guess what? I'll get you earplugs and you don't have to listen to me.
Right. That wasn't too bad of an opening statement. I wouldn't say you talk too much. That wasn't a bad. And I love that. Listen, I'm retired law enforcement. Mo in the booth is an active law enforcement. Everything that you said as far as law enforcement goes and the proactive and the reactive and what's going on in town right now, 100% spot on from somebody who knows. Who you said, I'm not a cop. I am. I was. We never really retire. He is. You are 100% spot on. I'm going to get over to you, Dustin, in 1 second. I wanted to say this about what's going on with the police department in this town now. I love what the chief is doing. I love all these fist. It seems like hokey or whatever, maybe to some people. Like I'm not a TikTok cop dancer guy. I think that's all nonsense. That's not how it works. You have to have some sort of rapport with the public, but there also has to be an understanding that, hey, we're the police and we're here to do a job. But separate from that, go into the schools, the fist bump with the Hulk hands, interacting with the kids, going on these walks with the kids. Those things, it's like in the old days, they called it park, walk, and talk. You park your car, you get out and walk, and you talk to the citizens. You have to have that connection. It just can't be going from job to job to job. And in this town, for a long time, it was because they were understaffed. I know a lot of cops in this town, and they just didn't have the resources. But as you start adding more cops or using them in a better way, which I think they're doing now too, things will improve. Now, there has been an uptick in shootings and stuff like that, but I don't think there's a correlation between that and anything that the police department's doing. I think that has to do more with socioeconomic and people that are moving into the town or people's coming across the bridge, like you said. But yes, spot on with the police department. We're going to have a question for you about that as we go forward.
Mike, if I may, you mentioned schools. Yours goes on the school board. And I don't like to use I like to use we. We as a team, that's how you get things accomplished. When we went into school security, if you remember back then, all the school shootings and that, okay, we made sure that our officers were armed. And the school board was split at that time. Right. We don't need cops without a gun. And I would say, well, sometimes I don't say it nicely, but I'll argue. You're going to have somebody come in with an automatic weapon and you have a cop without a gun. What good is that?
Right.
So we had the armed cops. And I can venture to say my one nephew, God bless his soul, he's passed. Okay, he was one of the school resources officer. Okay, and I have to say this because this is my type of family. That young guy who had MS would donate $1,000 a year to feed the kids in the school district that couldn't afford their lunch. So I want the public to know that we're just not here for politics. We're not here to get anything because we don't. We're a big family and we like to help those in need. And I had to bring that in with the school.
Sure.
That we're the ones that brought in armed school security. And thank God our schools are safe.
Right. And we wish we didn't need that, but it's the reality that we live in. And, you know, what good is the person that doesn't have a firearm that's, you know, not going to be able to stop someone? You know, better safe than sorry. Right. All right, Dustin, you don't have the service record that Pete has. You're newer to the council, right? You've been on there how long now?
Since February.
Since February. So give us a little background on yourself and, you know, where you're from and why you decided to get involved in politics in Philipsburg, because you really put a target on your back when you do that.
So I've lived here all my life. I'm like the third generation that's lived here.
Okay.
I went to Philipsburg High School, you know, so it's blood, you know, Liner blood is is in my veins. You know, I went to school. I wanted to be a politician. I got 2 BAs in English and political science, and you know, I've thrown my hat in there a couple times. I ran for, you know, town council as an independent one year, and you know, tried my hat at school board a couple times. But I'm glad I got the chance to sit up there and represent the community and the residents, because it's something that I've always wanted to give back. Like I said, on the Old Town Festival Committee, and I've been on it for 10 years, but I'm not just up there for a photo op.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm there to actually do work. And that's what I've been doing. You know, I was behind the scenes during, you know, certain campaigns and really, you know, driving the forces to get everything there. But overall, it's more of giving back to the residents and bringing them, you know, we need to stop being so out of touch with our residents and actually bring them to the table.
Okay, good. All right, so I have a few questions. I wrote a few things down. I am not a resident of Philipsburg. I cannot vote in Philipsburg, but I chose this town to put our headquarters in for a lot of reasons. Pro law enforcement, pro military, blue collar, super into their sports, their football, their wrestlers, a tight knit community, which can be good and can be bad. When it's smaller, you know, sometimes when it's good, but when it's bad, it can get bad. A lot of infighting, a lot of, you know, he said, she said kind of stuff, and a lot of times that negates any good that can happen. You just got to look across the river, which everybody always says, and look at Easton and look at all the stuff that happened there. But that did not happen overnight. Again, I don't live here, but I lived here years ago, and I frequent both places. And I remember when Easton was not so nice. You couldn't get up and down Northampton or that circle, prostitution, drugs, and there's still some pockets in Easton aren't the greatest, but they've done a hell of a job over there. And I've always thought, like, with everything that's here in the town, you have the water. It's not situated exactly perfectly like Easton with the straight road right down the middle and the circle and stuff like that, but there is potential here for greatness. It's just that everybody's got to kind of get on the same page, and and part of that is taxes, right? You need revenue.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is, like, you can't keep changing leadership halfway through. Right. You have to let leadership, you know, carry out what needs to be done. Like, the history of Philipsburg has always been, you know, every midterm election or every time, you know, there's a split, they throw the book out and we have to start over again. Right. And that's why I'm glad that there's a team of 5 of us so that we can do what we need to do to get the town back on track. And we've started that.
Right. So there's 5 openings.
Correct.
You guys have 5 running.
Correct.
And what's the other one? The Fantastic Four, the 4 Horsemen. What are they?
4 for Philipsburg.
4 for Philipsburg. I really didn't know the name. I just know it was 4 for something. So they have 4 running.
Correct.
So you guys are guaranteed at least one spot. Right?
But here's the thing. Like, I look at it this way. we're going to look at all 5 because at least
Right.
we could bring people to the table and say, hey, we have 5 people that are interested, invested in this town that want to make Philipsburg better.
Right.
And they scrounged up 4 people.
Right. So my first question as it relates to like doing things better is I saw a recent video, again, because I have the headquarters here and I'm being as partisan as I possibly can, right? 11% tax increase was what I saw in the video. That's a big hike, right?
It's a very big
So
hike.
but it also takes courage. He's not running this year, but he does have to run again to be the mayor to say, we have to do this. And here are the reasons why. And a lot of it is from what I see and what I read, and I could be wrong, from previous decisions that were made about, and again, I'm just saying the flat tax and in an election year when you are running for mayor the next time, not wanting to raise taxes. But those kind of decisions lead to what has to happen now. And if you're the one that's running for office now, for council or mayor down the road, you have to make the tough choices. And the easier thing would be to say, hey, I want to get elected again. I'm not backing any of this stuff, but you guys are. You're in support of this. But what are your thoughts on, or what's your message to the people in the town when they hear 11%? Because they're already up in arms about the sewer. That's a thing that's going on with the sewer tax as well, which really has nothing to do with you guys. You two.
Well, it did, Mike. I was on council when that came up. I voted no against the sewer increase. And here's what's going on in Philipsburg. Years ago in the school board, we always raised the taxes 2%, 2.5%. 18, 19 years ago, my previous council raised, they were always raised 2.5%. People understand, they know it. You have governmental contracts with your police department, PBA, as you well know as an officer. You have contracts with your in-house personnel. You have contracts with your DPW. If you flatline it like the previous mayor did, and they voted no, don't raise the taxes, and then you're not giving the services out. The sewer plant through the years has been neglected. Okay, we had the meeting with the federal officials. Here's what you have to do. You have to fix it up. It's coming in like 143 million on our sewer meetings. This town could not come up with no 143 million. I don't think many towns this size could. So you have to make the hard decisions. Mayor Piazza took right to the gut. In football, he ran that ball right down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to do it. I know Mayor Piazza was on council with me when we were the only 2 who voted to raise the sewer tax. The other 3 did. So when the public looks at it, here's how you have to look at it. If there had been a 2% tax every year, we wouldn't be in the financial that we are. And I can look anyone in the eyes and I'll tell you the truth right before God and right to you. I was on the school board when the town didn't have a municipal building. And personally, I want to rip it down. 4 family members have cancer because of that building in my estimation. So let's move on to that. So the previous mayor comes before the school board. Usually in public entities, you got a public building, you sell it for $1. It's tax dollars money, whether it be the town council or the school board, it's all town money. He offers $75,000. Yeah, okay. You're on school boards. Now you got to protect school board. We'll take the 75 grand. So the school district helped the town of Philipsburg out by going to an old school building, Freeman School, up the street from me. Now the prices are coming in on renovations of that municipal building. Okay, also there's a P3 program to try to build a new municipal building on the Armory lot off of Heckman Street. These are tough decisions in the tough times. But if you're going to be involved, you have to take the step back. You got to look, people look at a brick on a wall. And I'm not no psychiatrist, but if you don't look all the bricks that's looking at that brick, you're going to make poor decisions. So those previous mayors of the opposite party, and I don't like to mention parties, he didn't prepare for the future. He was preparing for a re-election. Okay? You didn't hurt him. You hurt the residents and the taxpayers of this town. Now, if you would have come in with a 2% every year, we wouldn't be in this financial bind. Mayor Piazza took the bull by the horns, replaced staff that was let go, staff, right? Inspection department, increased that. Everything's coming on. There's no tougher people than us. We deal with only the town clerk. There is one town clerk. Now we have an assistant when they be off. All right? Everything costs money, no matter what your age is, what your income is, and all that. Do I like to see taxes go up as a retiree from the federal government? Hell no. We don't get the big increases that people get from the state or the county or the town. Federal government, they screwed us retirees, man. You get that 2% maybe and all that, and then your medical goes up. So I'm the last person who wants to see taxes go up. I'm the last person that wants to raise for it. But if I want a good police department that's proactive, and all you have to do is see the names, look at the crime that has happened in a small town. If I want a good education system, which I do, I want these kids to go on to school. Thanks to some previous people with good contacts, we have a branch of the county community college. So every kid in Philipsburg, if they want the opportunity to go on, you can walk to Marshall Street where the community college is. So you have to look at the bright things.
Right.
And it's like anything else, it's going to cost you money. Okay. Our opposition, they can go around. What have they brought to the table? What have they brought to the table?
I will ask them that if they come in here. I mean, my invite is, listen, I'm a Republican and people know that, but this is a show about politics and people running for politics and people trying to make things better. And as far as that goes for me, I mean, and even in this town, like Republican, Democrat, I know there's two parties, but
It really shouldn't.
I see a lot of flip-flopping, a lot of people going from different parties, right? And in small towns, whether the flip-flopping was going on or not, and I'm Republican, I've never voted party line. I vote people. When it's going to directly affect me here, or when I'm in Pennsylvania where I live, I vote people. Obviously I want to know ideologies, but I also vote the person. Because even if I don't, and I'm talking about only me now, even if I don't agree with a lot of their ideologies, if where we want to go is the same, but we want to take two different directions to get there, you think we should go this way, I think we should go that way, but we're going to get to that goal, I could vote for you. I might not like everything that you're going to do, but the general idea of what you're going to do is something that's good. So I don't get too caught up in like what's his name? Mayor Tersigny was Republican, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he
Became a Democrat.
And ran. Then he lost, and then
Correct.
Mr. Mayor Piazza won.
Correct.
And there's other people that are on. And I'm not saying it's bad to flip flop. You were an independent, and now you're a Republican.
Correct.
And sometimes that is necessitated by the way a party's ideologies, might change. Like for me, the Democratic Party is going too far left. I'm more of a centrist myself. And the Republican Party here in town seems to be more towards the middle than the far right. And I think middle is where we probably all need to be. Right. So you switched from independent, you're Republican. Pete said what he thought about the taxes. 11% is a big increase. Mm-hmm. What's your thought on that?
I'm glad that he put the video out. I'm glad that facts were actually put out because it seems like our counterparts or our opponents, the four for Philipsburg of Clark, Kennedy, Winnesko, and Bernie Fay, say on their literature 13%, but then go on Facebook and say 11%. Well, which one is it?
11.5%.
Right. If you can't even convey the information correctly, how can anybody believe what you're saying? Because you've already off the bat lied to the residents of the town of Philipsburg.
Mike, if I could follow up on Dustin, they were the dream team. And I won't mention entity because they do well for a lot of communities in different states. So they were going to build this project on town property, found out that it wasn't feasible because the fees would go straight up. They met. Kennedy and Clark and Tersigny met with these people. Randy Piazza and I were on council. We had no resources to it. We had no idea what was going on. Thank God.
Does it rhyme with Cal Ripken Jr. Field?
It's something similar to that, sir.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm involved in this town, and I thought that was
So,
a great thing.
It
As it started, I thought it was.
it was a great thing. So I'm looking through the bills. I see they had lunch. Well, that wasn't for the town. So we made them reimburse the lunch because I follow everything. And I have some friends on that board that
Right.
really contribute nuts. So I don't want to really bring them out because they're really good guys.
Right.
Right. But this is they say transparency, right? My opponents, transparency. Well, why don't you come clean on that and tell the public, tell the voters especially, that you were on that dream team, that you knew what was going on. And
When you say knew what was going, I'm sorry to interrupt. When you say knew what was going on, do you mean know that it was never ever going to be in that park and it was always going to be moved over to Firth?
in all fairness and
Is that what you
honesty,
mean?
in all honesty and fairness, it got moved because they couldn't afford it, and it was town property where you're governed by state. They had to put a drainage field in that. Then they had a friend over at the youth center that was going to bring it over there where they could get cheaper labor and all that. But don't miss. Here's what really irritated. I'm going to tell the God's honest truth before God. I told you earlier, I'm for all kids of Philipsburg, all kids.
Right.
I don't care what the names are. I don't care what.
Mm-hmm.
But that name that you said for baseball
Right.
does not include disabled kids.
Right.
I'm not spending $1 a tax dollar for any project that all the kids in the town of Philipsburg can't use. Bottom line,
Right.
I protect every kid. I call them kids. People call them children. I call them kids.
Right.
Everyone. So that no one has mentioned what we're going to do for the disabled. When that was brought up a couple of years ago, a councilman said, well, the wheelchairs. I didn't mention wheelchair. I can't use my left arm. I played baseball every day in the summer. Right down the street here, Broad Street, there was a
Right.
field. A guy I ended up working with, didn't know at the time, was in the Navy, took a picture, put it in the U.S. Navy Times when we were working. He said, hey, you were that kid on Broad Street. So when I protect kids, I protect all kids. I don't care about their income. I don't care about anything. So when they want to talk transparency, tell the truth before God, so help you God.
Right.
Well, and that goes back to the 11%. They forget to tell the voters that, by the way, their failed policies and their failed decisions resulted in this. You use one-time funds to offset this budget. We had no capital when Mayor Piazza came in. And what was the offset? They warned about this. Even the CFO of the town sent a letter to council saying, this is a bad financial budget. We need to, reevaluate our decisions. And the councilman
And make hard choices.
Right. And
Right.
Clark and Kennedy and another person voted yes for it.
It's like starting the alphabet at the letter G. You got
Correct.
to talk about A, B, C, D, E, F, why we got here and why we're here.
Correct.
Before you
And
make that
once
mistake.
again, the taxpayers pay the burden
Right.
of bad financial decisions.
Okay.
One thing I can say is this team so far, with the new administration has gotten our budget back on track. We're in a place where we're paying our bond payments. because-
Manageable.
Well, and yes, manageable, but as well as we're paying all of our bills.
Right.
When they did that flat budget 2 years ago, they kicked the can down the road for the bond payment. They never paid it.
Right.
So it ballooned in the following year.
And everybody knew that was going to happen. I mean, it was
Pete and Randy both said at that meeting, this is going to raise taxes no matter who becomes mayor. The taxes are going to go up. And instead of the opponents saying, hey, we had to do this because of X, Y, and Z, they lie to the taxpayers
Right.
and say that it's 13% when it's really 11.
So along those lines of finances, again, these are things that I read on I try to do the research. I look all over the place for things. I don't just take one person or one news organization, if you want to call some of these that. But
you're an educated voter.
I try to. Well, I can't vote here, but I like to be a critical thinker and know things from all over the place, and listen to the opposing views. Because if you're only listening to people that you like or what you agree with, you're not learning anything.
Correct.
So tell me about, and I'm confused about this, but you could probably shed light on it. Was there money that was put aside for other recreational things in Philipsburg that was then moved over to the Cal Ripken Jr.?
$300,000.
Okay, so wait, let me phrase this out and tell me when I'm wrong. I just want to understand this because it blows my mind. And I could be wrong, and I hope I am. I wish to be wrong. Was $300,000 that was allotted for recreation in general moved from the recreational budget over to the Cal Ripken Jr. Field when it was still going to be in a park that was owned by the town, but then later was taken away from that and moved to, and I got nothing against the Firth Youth Center. They're amazing. I donate to them. I bring them toys, gifts. I love what they're doing. It's a great thing. But was that field moved from a public entity to a private entity? And did that $300,000 that was allotted for the use for the public go to that field where it's going to be private? Is that accurate, or am I missing something?
As of today,
because that would infuriate me if I was a taxpayer. And I would say, well, there's one of the reasons why this stuff happens, and who voted for that, and why did that happen?
As of today, that money was repurposed, and then with the new council and mayor, since they can't build on town property and they're building at the youth center, that money still didn't come back to Philipsburg.
Okay,
town
but why
yet.
can't they build on, I'm sorry to interrupt. Why can't they build it in the park?
So they didn't take into consideration that the state governs us. So therefore, when they did the plans, they determined, oh, we're just going to put a field, and then didn't realize that you have to put a retaining basin and all of this other stuff that you didn't budget for and even ask for, because there was a dedicated team that was put together with no council input.
The dream team.
Right.
And it created the situation that's in now.
X amount of money.
So what we're saying is, we don't know if it was for nefarious reasons, but what we're saying is, at the worst, at the minimum, ignorance,
due diligence.
or due diligence.
Due diligence
Okay, maybe
wasn't
ignorance
done.
wasn't the right. So due diligence wasn't done.
No, it was
And
a
that-
political move.
Okay, and that $300,000 isn't lost. It's going to still go to the field when it's built over there. But that $300,000 is lost to what it was intended originally to disperse to other projects. Is that accurate?
The $300,000 is coming back to the town.
You will get it back.
We will get it
Okay.
back. Okay. X amount of money was spent, because in Philipsburg politics, never give a figure, because somebody researches it. If you're $1 off, they think you're corrupt.
Oh, trust me, I know that
Okay,
in the
so you
charity.
gotta
I know that in the charity field as well. No good deed goes unpunished. But that's
Right.
another podcast.
So X amount of money was spent to do some engineering work in that. And then
Right.
when they found out, so now it is going to come back to the town. And part of that, good news, what we call the Hillcrest section on the side of Philipsburg, the north part of 22.
Right.
They don't have any playground material, no athletic things for the children up there.
Right.
And they pay the most taxes. So
That's the side of Philipsburg where the high school is,
in the municipal
and
building,
the hospital,
and
and
the
all that.
library
Right.
and stuff.
Okay, got
So-
it. Yeah.
it's my understanding that they will be getting a playground area up there, the first time in the history of Philipsburg that those kids on that part of town will be able to enjoy playgrounds like the rest of the town. So that's a big underdoing by the mayor and this staff and this council. These are the things people never know, never think.
Well, that's why I do these podcasts, because for the layman,
They don't
Right.
understand it.
I won't, but we talk in layman's terms, right? That's why I'm sometimes interrupting and making the question a little bit more simpler, because I have a simple mind and I want other people to understand. When you say that $300,000 is coming back, does that mean the $300,000 that was put to the Cal Ripken, that fund that they have, those monies are reimbursed back from the Cal Ripken Dream Team, whatever, back to the town? Where is that $300,000 coming from? Right back from them?
The money that they took, the $300,000, we're in talks to get that money back with the attorneys.
Okay.
So,
In talks.
In
Right now.
talks.
Okay.
but I don't believe in hiding anything.
Right.
So that's why I try not to use names,
Right.
because I think the people deserve transparency. Like our opponents keep saying, I will give the people of Philipsburg transparency.
Yeah, and
I have nothing to
I'm
hide.
not knocking them, because I know quite a few people on that board that I'm friendly with.
So
and
do
I have
I.
nothing but respect for.
Good people, very good people.
But there's a lot of people on that board. Some of them I don't have much respect for, but a lot of them I do. And I think that when I heard this come out, I'm like, wow, that is an amazing thing, because there aren't a lot of those fields. There aren't a lot of them in the country, and to be picked is a great thing. And that's a like put you on a map kind of thing. So I hope it still happens no matter where it's built. I mean, we got to get over it's not here, it's not there, but it should be done the right way, and money should be going where they need to go. And I'm glad to hear that you'll have something up on the Hillcrest area because it's much needed.
Very much needed. I mean, the bottom line that residents and voters have to realize, we had a former superintendent. I'm not going to quote him exactly. He goes, "There's no place like the Berg in the universe." And I go, "You mean P-Berg?"
Right.
He said, "Just leave it go as the Berg." You know, and here's the sad thing with politics. Years ago, they're going to put the addition to the library. I know people don't like history, but I want them to know what kind of town we have. So I get appointed to the library board. I'm friends with both sides. So I said to the guys, "Why am I on this board?"
As it should be, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the decorum and civil.
We work together,
discourse.
right?
It's gone.
We
It's
don't have that
correct.
anymore. Mike, you're exactly right. We don't have that in P-Berg.
Civil discourse.
He's in a different party, right? And he goes, I go, "What do you need my yes vote for?" So they want to put an addition on the library. So we go in a few years later, superintendent of schools, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, because without my vote, we wouldn't have the addition to the library."
Right.
Those days are gone. And that's sad, because when you work together, you get things done together.
Correct.
When you're going to try not to be transparent, like they want to be transparent, well, here, we're transparent, right? And I think the voters of P-Berg right now, everybody's fed up with politics. They are. You
Sure.
go knocking on the doors, nobody wants to talk to you.
Right.
But when the truth comes out, and I'm glad for this podcast, that people understand, if we didn't push for that 11%, I never in my political career voted for more than 3%, and I stand to be corrected if I did. But I saw the needs, that we didn't have a properly equipped police department. I saw the needs. I went to the prosecutor for those two canines. If you want to bring people into your community, what are the two biggest things people look for? They look for a good education system, and I'll put the Philipsburg School District education system up against any school system in this country. That's how much I believe in it. And now that this police department is going to start being proactive, right, you're going to see the change. Everything that has happened, our guys and women in blue with that badge have gotten them.
Right.
And we're outside, I think, one or two. None of them are from where? The town of Philipsburg. So now the message is going to be sent. P-Berg's not that sleeping old town anymore.
Right.
You come in and do the crime, you're going to do the time.
Pete, I can tell you this, it's close to home. We had an Easter thing here, like, was that, Mo, 2 years ago? We did the Easter. So we took the parking lot, we made it so anybody in the town could come. They had the Easter egg hunt up at the school, but we had it more like for people down here that couldn't drive, and you could come in. We had a thing for the adults with grass that could pick out a little egg, and there was like gift cards in there, and people were struggling, right? And the kids all got a basket and the fruit and the coloring book and the Easter bunny, and they took photos with the Easter bunny. One of the cops, I was the Easter bunny first. The guy was running late. The cop and his kid were sitting on my lap. Took a photo. 20 minutes later, was involved in that shooting right down the road where the officer got shot in the leg, who's since retired, right? He's out now.
He's out now.
And that cop's gun jammed. And luckily, the perp took his own life. The bad guy took his own life. So, this might offend people, but in my world, that's a happy ending, right? The cops left pretty much unscathed, and the bad guy who was doing domestic violence didn't hurt anybody else. Everybody else survived. But that's like it. So it hits home for us. And as far as crime goes, and I know a lot of people in the town, and I can tell you something, and I'll say it out loud now, and I've never said it before. I have knowledge of what was going on the last time when they wanted to get the police hired, right? And never in the history, and I'm talking about only my knowledge of police, right? Never in the history of police, since a caveman put a badge on his chest, was a higher up police individual ever asked, "Do you want more cops?" And they say no. Never
Sad.
heard of it. And I will ask any cop anywhere, do you show me a time where an administrator high up on a department said, no, I don't want more manpower. That happens. You want to know why that happened? And I'm telling you, if anybody is watching this from any opposing side, write something on Facebook right now, because this is something that I will answer to. I know it. I know it to be true. I know it to be true. They were told, we need the flat tax. We don't want to hire or put anything else more on the budget. We're not hiring those police.
No, they wanted cameras instead.
Right.
But cameras don't
And the main reason
catch criminals.
why that happened is because of the mayor. I mean, of course, there's always politics, there's side deals and everything's going on behind the scenes, but he had to fight really hard. And it was him and the council people on the Republican side that said, no, we need these cops. And they hired, 2 more cops, and more have been hired since then. But then, to my amazement, when I saw that they were going to hire the cops, and then they had the line of people up to be everybody to get pat on the back, I'm like, well, wait a minute. 2 of those 3, or maybe 3 of those, 2 of those 5, or maybe 3 of those 5, one might have flipped at the last minute because he saw the pressure, said no. And we're lock and step with the mayor and the higher administrator. I'm not saying anybody's name. I'm not going to say anybody's name. But that happens because of BS, politics, flat tax, blah, blah, blah. So I say to people, it's almost like I'm being interviewed. I shouldn't be saying this much, but what I'll say to people, when you see that 11% tax, I wouldn't get mad at the person proposing that. I would say, hey, I'm not happy about the tax, but it needs to be done. Why does it need to be done? Here's why it needs to be done. So you put it doesn't even have to be blame, but understand why these things are happening. They just didn't come out of nowhere.
Well, and that goes back to their transparency hold that the Democrats push. You didn't educate the residents. We go door to door now and they're like, my taxes went up. Why? Well, it went up because of these bad financial decisions. They did this stuff. And now it's smoke and mirrors for you guys because they told you one thing, and in reality, that's not what happened.
Well, I would say this. So, what I'm seeing, and again, this is just my view. It's not Blue's view. It's not Mo's. Maybe not your view. I don't see anything as far as I see them campaigning against or bringing up the mayor a lot, who's not even running,
Right.
and saying things against the guys, you guys that are running, guys or gals. It's all men running this time.
All men.
Guys that are running, but not what they're gonna do.
Correct.
Right? I've heard even in the first 10 minutes here of things that you plan that you'd like to do,
Right.
and just from watching stuff on Facebook or seeing videos or whatever, I see things that you say you'd like to do. I'm not seeing that. I'm only seeing, I hate to bring Trump into this, but it's like if you hear 15 things, they'll say negative about Trump, and that's great. I get why he rubs you the wrong way. I get why you don't like him. I can understand that. But can you tell me what you're going to do? Can you tell me what your policies are, what you're going to do to change? Not you, but I'm saying.
Well,
just
if you think about it, okay. Before Randy, you had technically 8 years of Democrats because Todd was a Democrat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had 8 years for them to do something. And what did they do? Nothing. They sat there. They said, oh, we're doing great things. They showed up and did nothing. I've been up there since February. I've proposed a new Citizens Advisory Board.
Which, by the way, is a great idea. If you really want to get the citizens involved, get them involved.
Correct.
Don't be afraid to hear what they're going to say.
Exactly. And that's the point. But they voted no for it because we already have something like that. But it shows that they don't read the town code. It shows that they are not educated in what the residents want. It's sad that they keep pushing this, oh, we're transparent, we do this. But on the other hand, you don't do anything. You show up 8 years and you did nothing. You said you were going to do this, and this, but it never came to fruition.
Well, I don't think there's much transparency in those videos with the guy with the mask when it says,
Are you a member of the Philipsburg?
you ever see those videos that they do? It's like one of those guys with the masks, and I'm like,
Right.
come on, man. Come on.
Mike, what a lot of people in Philipsburg don't recognize. You got 2 of the biggest assets to any community. Your volunteer fire department
God bless them.
and your Philipsburg emergency squad. Their leadership is at the top. These guys could go anywhere in this country and lead a fire department or in emergency vehicles, and they would be aces. Our chief has the foresight to, and I stand to be correct because things change all the time. They get our new equipment before they do away with diesel trucks. That's somebody's got his heart in his department and his heart in his town. Our emergency services, the squad, they call them the squad.
Squad, yeah.
My wife's an exempt member of that.
Not to be confused with the squad out in
Right.
that other squad,
These
Minnesota, wherever they are.
These men and women spend their time, now they're paid, some of them are paid. Without them, you've got to pay. You cross that river. Everybody wants to cross that river, cross it.
Right.
You pay for everything.
Right.
You pay for the water coming off of your roof down into there. Philipsburg doesn't do that. So when people look at the long and short of this town, you've got dedicated people, and they want to blast the mayor, Randy, all the time. How many people would have the guts to propose 11% raise? Not too many. He saw the vision to move forward. Okay? There were positions that weren't filled. You got contracts. Where are you going to get the money? So you blow the extra money you have. Here's where we are. A municipal building, right? I'm not going to vote to go back into that old one. It's got mold, has asbestos, 4 family members, 3 passed away because of illnesses there from there. Can't direct it. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a scientist, but they had asbestos, they had mold. So
Talking about the police station.
the old police
Oh my
station.
God, I could not believe when I
Okay.
had just moved away from Philipsburg a few years after that to Pennsylvania, and when I saw the pictures online, a few friends that I know more now, but a few friends on there, and they were showing me pictures, and I'm like, listen, I was a cop in New York City in the 80s. I've seen, excuse my language, shithole precincts. Like they don't care nothing about you. That place put all those to shame. Like how they had people in there breathing that in, changing. They risked their lives more in that building than they did out on the streets.
Mike, that's why the school district pulled out of there. Come on,
Unbelievable.
Philipsburg, wake up.
Right.
Wake up, right? So Randy took the task to fill positions. You show me any government in this country that's flat rate. There is none because
Right.
you're paying union contracts. You're paying this contract. Things go up. We're looking at, look what we just did with the police department. I won't give numbers because you never can tell.
Right.
We got helmets. You were a cop. Did you have a helmet?
Yes.
My grandson's a Port Authority cop. I said, Jeff, you have a helmet? Yeah, Bob, why are you asking?
Don't tell anybody, but my helmet's around here.
I don't want to say it. I want to say it.
I retired and took that with me.
Okay, so if you want good things, it comes with a cost. And if you're going to save one life, it's worth the cost.
I agree.
2 murders.
I agree.
2 murders in Philipsburg. Come on, historians, prove me wrong. The perpetrators. Hey, Councilman Clark, you're right. I'm not a cop, but I do love my police department. Not from Philipsburg. Because the attitude that we gave to the rest of this area, come into Philipsburg, we don't care. Guess what? We're the new Philipsburg. We do care and stay out of our town. If you're going to do the crime, we're going to catch you. You're going Route 519 to the county prison.
And I'll tell you something, besides being more proactive, their rate of success of catching the perps that are doing the shootings is pretty good.
Well,
I mean, you know what I mean?
We got those shot spotters a couple
Right.
years ago that
Yeah.
really have helped the police department really, catch them really quickly, because it's like the police chief has said, it's like 30 seconds. They get a notification, boom.
Right.
And they know exactly where within the vicinity, and they can catch these people before
Right.
they even
And
get.
you have cops who in this town who care, right?
Correct.
They live here. They're part of the community, which is important.
Mhm.
And when those shots ring out, bullets don't discriminate. It can go. They can go anywhere.
Correct.
Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, gay, straight. It don't matter when a bullet is fired out of a gun. It's going where it's going, and it's going to hit who it's going to hit. These guys live in the town. They live in the community. They care.
Mike,
They care.
I don't want to be like sounding like I'm a brown nose or anything like that, but I like to give a shout out.
You still might get a summons if you do something wrong, Pete. Don't, just because you're praising the cops don't mean you can start blowing red lights. Don't
I'm
be
not
crazy. Okay, all right.
I'm not going to
I'm just
praise
saying,
them.
I'll give you a PBA card when you leave.
No, I don't want one.
All right.
I got my nephews, or my
Yeah.
grandsons.
Right.
I want to praise our town employees.
Yeah.
They're always the first to get yelled at and screamed out, whether any department they work in. They don't deserve that. A lot of them are new people, and they're hardworking.
Keyword there.
They're hardworking.
Keyword working. I have calmed down on the Philipsburg pages. I used to be a little bit more vocal, and I'd be the first one to say, why somebody's street, right? This is the part of the town that I don't like, but I love this town. Don't make no mistake about it. That's why we're here. I love this town. Reminds me of the town that I grew up in. Somebody's street has to be the last street to be plowed. Somebody's street has to be the last one to have the garbage picked up. The people working on a DPW are human beings. They might miss a garbage can here. It's not, listen, if I wake up tomorrow and the worst thing that happened is my garbage guy came by and he took my recycling and they forgot to take my regular garbage, I'm penciling that in as a great day in my life if that's the worst thing that happened to me. I just got in not a disagreement, but these big hot topic now. It's not on my question list, but I want to ask the turnarounds. Okay?
Good. I'm glad
The
you brought that up.
turnarounds, right? I know of a few people that personally affected. Tragically, one person was killed, another was injured, and I've seen quite a few accidents there. A gentleman on Facebook was making comments. A lot of people are. They don't understand that that's a state road. And that, even if Philipsburg requested to have an investigation done on the amount of fatalities and amount of accidents, which any politician worth their weight in salt, if there's a higher increase in accidents or if it's dangerous, would want that study done. And then the state says, wow, there's enough evidence here to say these needs to be closed. And the guy is arguing with me about, well, how many people died or how many people were killed. And very simple response was this. I don't know that number. I'd have to put the request in to find out the number, but let's play devil's advocate. You give me a number that makes it okay to close those turnarounds. In other words, how many people have to die and how many people have to be hurt for you to say, all right, you know what? They should do that. Is the number 5? Is the number 10? Is it 20? How many human lives and how many people's lives have to be changed before you would support that? And really what it is 5 or 10 minutes more out of your life. And the news flash to everybody in Philipsburg and Warren County. What you see over there is not traffic. Traffic is the Bell Parkway. Traffic is 78 at 7 in the morning. Traffic is
that roadway in the Bronx. I was going down with my friend. I never
Right.
saw so much.
Henry Hudson Parkway, BQE, the Turnpike or the Parkway on the way back from the shore in the summer and a Saturday. People, that is traffic. Sitting for 5 minutes more because there's a turnaround. And I don't care if people get mad. Get over yourself. Get a life. That is not traffic, and that is not that big of a deal.
Mike, may I respond?
Yes, please. I'm sorry.
I addressed that.
You're lucky, Philipsburg. I don't live here. I'd be running. I'd be the 6th person. I'll run.
I addressed
You
that.
don't want me on any boards.
I addressed that at the council
Yes, we
meeting.
do.
And I forgot to bring my town phone. I did send an open request to the Department of Transportation. One extension, another extension. Here we go. They're going to wait. September 11th, we're going to get back to you. Well, they did get back to me. I wish I would have brought my phone. I opened it for the number of accidents and the number of fatalities on the crossovers. There is no information available, and I will bring my town phone to the Wednesday council meeting and read it word for word from the state of New Jersey. Secondly, when I discussed those crossovers, turnarounds, whatever people want to call them in town, I worked in that building on the highway between both lanes for 33 years. I know people in Philipsburg don't want to hear history. They don't want to hear stories. I tell the truth. The first cutoff, most people don't remember. Behind the post office, we had maybe 4 or 5 mail trucks at that time. So between the state government, postal service, they're going to, at that time, go to what they call carriers were all going to get a vehicle. There's not going to be a big truck taking the relays. Relays were bundles of mail for different sections. In my recollection, in the postal days, they called it Minor Park, so which was state-owned. So between the state and the feds, they crossed that first one over, took it out, made the parking lot there.
Right.
So Philipsburg people, if you don't like to hear history, but I have to tell history. I only say what I witnessed. I used to go in at 4 a.m. to 12:30. We witnessed many of an accident. Couple fatalities, only what I seen, many injuries. So that was in the 80s or early 90s when that occurred. Before they had the first crossover turned around. God rest his soul, Bill Fredericks was about 6'4", 250 a mailman. That gas station at that time was Rose, Texaco. The guy shoots across, boom, it's sides right, big Bill, literally opens the door. These are things I personally witnessed.
Because it's not just about the turnaround, it's about the
Crossing
side streets
over.
that go run
Potts Avenue,
perpendicular to
Potts Avenue.
22, where people want to shoot out really fast.
They come out of the gas station, shoot across to what we call the First Street accident. That off-duty officer with the motorcycle didn't see. So what I heard, a person come out of First Street. State did not answer my request, Oprah request. I said, I'll pay $10 worth, right? So when they say transparency, and I don't know what political party is running Trent now,
Right.
I'll roll the dice and say it's the Democrats. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a good dice player, but
Careful, we don't grant money.
but
It doesn't make its way up north as much as we like it to.
but this
Fact.
is the state doing it,
Right.
not the local, right? So listen to the facts and understand all the accidents. Do I travel that? Yeah, I take my daughter to work in Belvedere, so I have the car. And if we don't leave early at 5:15, I'll either go in the left lane, cut down the Red School Lane because we're going north, or the Bate Street, turn around, and you've got to go across, hit some stop signs, or Roseberry Street. So like you said, no one likes traffic,
Right.
but this is light compared to
Yes.
what other
And it's
cross the river,
Right.
Mike. They're always saying
I-
cross.
I
Go
know.
from
Wanna-
25th Street up.
I'll tell you what traffic is, and I see it every day. Look out the window right now, and North Main Street, which is where we are, all the way up to La Bella Via. A little plug there for La Bella Via, and where Burley's Gym is, and the new weed store is going up there. And
I didn't want to bring that up. Yeah, but that's good.
and the
Denver Taste Brewery.
right. They have we reviewed their beer, great beer. Sitting that from down here to here. That's more traffic than I would say what's over there. But these are all tough decisions and decisions that have to be made.
Have to
right?
be made.
So, like when you say, how many people died or whatever, there's always going to be another side to the story where people want to get upset or people want to argue or fight over it. But that's how things go. There's going to be a flip side to either one. These aren't easy decisions. Somebody didn't just wake up one day and say, let's close that up and let's make traffic and let's piss everybody off. They're done for a reason.
And when you look at it, okay, and I'm born and raised in Philipsburg, okay, worked on that highway for over 30 years. Did newspapers. I was retired. I needed more money for 14 years. I could tell you stories at night that would blow the average person away. We saw fires that we called in. Again, Philipsburg is unique. If you change the momentum that Mayor Piazza has going right now, just a couple of these ribbon cuttings, the president of downtown said the last 3 months, I think he said 3 months, I hate to use numbers, that look all these small stores opening up.
We just had Athena in here for the love of cupcakes, right up on
Really good
Sick Rays.
cupcakes.
Phenomenal, unbelievable, great story. Well, sad she lost her husband, but single mom, 5 kids, doing it on her own, taking a risk, and
Succeeding in Philipsburg.
right. But I said this before you guys come on. People should be going out and supporting.
Support,
Don't-
exactly.
Right. So what happens is this. Oh, the bowling alley closed. Okay, so I would write again back in the day when I was a little more aggressive. New rule: if you can't show me a receipt or bowling shoes and you haven't been in a bowling alley for a year, shut up, because you're the reason why the bowling alley closed. You never went there. Or when Ahart's closed, right?
Yep.
It was open when I was here.
Yep.
If the town's people or their financial situations can't support certain businesses, they're not going to come. So when a luxury apartment thing opens up here and I see all these people bashing it because they say we need more low-income housing, then I'm thinking about all the people that say we have too much low-income housing and too much Section 8. So if you have people with more money moving into downtown, whether they're getting on a train or bus and going into Manhattan, they still have to come back here. If they have disposable income, they're going to spend it. They're going to walk outside their door and walk down to the coffee shop. What's that place called? Salvage Sip?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? Salvage Sip?
Yes.
Mike, I forgot a lot of names.
Great place. I have their dirty chais there. The guy is super nice.
Yes.
He was closing. He's like, oh, here, have a scone. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff. The weed stores right there. The empanada place right across the street.
Second time you referenced a weed store, bro.
Phenomenal. Go to the weed store first, then go get the empanadas.
They need all that business because we get a lot of tax dollar from that.
Right. So what I'm saying is, like, there's always going to be like naysayers, and there's things that could have happened that didn't happen. Never look backwards. I mean, history is important, so you don't repeat it. But look forward.
Look forward.
Look
Always
forward.
good.
And that's a success story. That's why I had her in here, and that's why I reviewed her place and why I have charity chats and bring in locals. Everything we do here is not going to be local. We were on a broader scale. Our podcast is all over the country, but we're local in Philipsburg, and it's important to promote local businesses. And, you know, we had other politicians in here. I had someone running for Brooklyn Borough President. I had another guy in here running for Staten Island Council. It's not just, because the podcasts are everywhere. It's not just in Philipsburg. We just happen to be local to Philipsburg.
Mike, you referenced the Elks building. I was a member of the Elks, right? That building cost a lot of money when they first built it. They did a great job, phenomenal job on those apartments, right? They got a lot. They got a lot of living space. I think it's 31, 34 apartments like that. But listen to once it mushrooms. Peabody has to mushroom. Once you get those people, no matter what their age, that they're going to rent there, look what's going to be available for them. They're going to be able to come to these little shops in town. They're going to bring more income in.
Exactly.
It's going to start a walking people. Now we reference across the bridge, all the events they have, right? It's going to take time. It's like the child. They're not born at a week old and can talk and walk. It takes time.
Right.
I honestly believe from the bottom of my heart, I love Union Square area. It's the crown jewel of this town. It's going to give. The best thing they did when they moved that market from Chappelle Park down here, give it time. Bring in more vendors. Give it time.
I argued with another guy about that. Well, I didn't really argue. We had a difference of opinion.
Right.
He's like, oh, the farmer's market, big deal. There was only 6 tents. I'm like, well, when I drove by, and I do podcasts on Saturday, when I drove over the bridge, I was like, wow, I was trying to see how many different tents, and a lot of them are different colors, different heights. I counted like 12 or 13. I said, that's weird. I just drove by, didn't support it, didn't go to that day. I was running late to come here, but I try to pump as much money and do as many charitable things in the town as I possibly can. I counted like 14.
Mike,
it's good. Like you said, it's going to take time, but that's a great spot for it.
Yeah, 18 to 20 years ago, the old Philipsburg Motors building down here, right in the square.
Okay. I don't know about that, but.
Okay. My brother Larry was a police officer. He had a pool business, Philipsburg Pool and Supply. We're down there. I worked it 7 days a week. They would come across the bridge, very successful. The guy doesn't want to sell in the building. We moved down by Chappelle Park. First year, second year, nothing. I said, Larry, sell the building. This is the area.
Right.
I will sell it. I will plug anybody.
If you do build wheel, what do you call that?
Ferris wheel?
Ferris wheel. Please don't block my view of the Delaware. Like, I have a nice view in my office. Don't block my view.
Well, first of all, I don't think Ferris wheels are on any of our agendas.
They're not on.
That was 2 administrations ago.
All right. Is there anything? All right. Without getting in, saying something that we're not supposed to know, because I've also been involved in and seen the, what do you call those things when you have an council meeting and then they got to go in the back?
Executive session.
I know about them. I know all the secrets and all that stuff. Is there anything coming or anything planned for across the street that we can talk about?
No.
I know the parking lot's there, right? But really,
are there future plans across the street?
I mean, that's owned by the town, right?
What?
The parking lot is the town.
The parking lot is the town.
Right.
And we bought this mayor's administration bought the Kroner Place.
Oh, we can say that out loud now? Yeah, I knew about that. Yeah.
I can say
all right,
that
so
out loud.
so then we have the parking lot and the Kroners, all the way, all that, but then you have
Right.
that little building there. That's, what is that, a sewer thing there or something? That little building?
The dog place.
Yeah, right.
That's town owned as well.
Okay, so you have all that town property. The potential is there.
Great
to do
potential.
something amazing.
If I live long enough,
If
and
you
let
make it a
them-
warehouse, you're going to start a civil war in this town, or I don't want to carry any more warehouse battles, but-
if I live long enough, and from what I was told, that will, in my opinion.
Is this breaking news? Can
No,
we have some
no,
button you can
no,
all right,
no.
okay. I thought maybe we were going to break a story here. Put us on the map.
I wish we could. When we will, we'll break it with
All
you.
right, okay.
Okay, it will be a great benefit to downtown. That's all I can
Yes,
say at this
okay.
time.
Hey, let me just say this because it popped into my head. I don't deal with like Kennedy and Clark on a political thing. I did a little bit when where this building is we're right at the Free Bridge,
Mhm.
and we have the parking lot which we leased from the town, and we prettied it up, and Kennedy, Councilman Kennedy did vote in our favor, and he was the swing vote, so I do appreciate that, and they've always been nice to me and respectful to me, and I only as people I know them. Politics, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that they do, but to me, right, just on the outside, decent people. Then it gets to politics and stuff, and then there's disagreements and whatever. I just want to say before we get to the last couple of questions, I don't want this to come off as a partisan,
No,
a bipartisan, right?
I think
Wait, partisan? Yeah, I don't want this to come off as partisan. Like I'm only
You want it to be
interviewing-
bipartisan.
Yeah, like just like when we did the boxing and we were inviting everybody to come to the boxing. I invited everybody. I invited Democrats, I invited Republicans, I invited the new mayor that was coming in because there was a lot of turmoil in town. I said, let's have everybody sit together right in the first row, new beginning.
and Mike,
And then it's 4 years later, it's another new beginning.
Mike, who's the only councilman that didn't go to that boxing match? Marino.
Oh, you weren't there for that one?
No,
You were there for the second one.
no.
You weren't there for either?
I was a former school board member. We don't have boxing in public schools, Mike.
Oh, okay. Well, we did at those schools.
Whoops. I told you I'd tell the truth.
Yeah.
So help me God.
Is that why you didn't come?
Exactly.
Oh,
How could I don't believe in being a phony.
right,
There's things in life that you have to stand up for.
right.
I don't like boxing. I love fighting.
Hey, you did give me a proclamation, but you did give me a proclamation
Yeah.
for all the stuff I do in town, including the boxing. So you got over that pretty quick. I mean,
So I figured this way.
it wasn't in a frame though.
I figured this way. No, we did it. Right. So I
Berger
figured this
got a
way.
frame. My buddy Tim Berger,
Right.
I got his was framed. Mine was a piece of
So I go like
Sorry.
this.
That's okay.
I don't want to
The
lie to
sentiment was there.
I don't want to lie to the people. If I wasn't
Right.
on school boards, right, it would have been different. But
Yeah.
I'm a man of my word.
Well, I mean, listen, I did have to go before the school board and pitch
Yeah.
the idea and get the votes and everything.
Yeah.
But so what I'm saying is, Kennedy and Clark, if you're listening and you want to come on, you're more than welcome to too. I mean, the questions I think I'm asking are fair. I will give my opinions here and there. It's what I do. I can't keep my mouth shut about things, but I don't think I'm biased in the sense of being an interviewer about questions. If there's something that you guys say,
I think you're a good interviewer. And if you don't ask the hard questions, and if we can't answer them, that's our problem, not your problem.
what sets the Take Five apart from the what are they called?
The 4 for Philipsburg.
What sets the Take? There's a tough one for you now. You ready? You wanted it? You got it. What sets the Take Five apart from the 4 for Philipsburg? What's the difference? If people voted for the Take Five and the 5 got in, or if they voted for the Take 4 and the 4 got in, because you're talking about majority, what matters? It could be 3-2, and you'd still be okay, or they'd be okay if they wanted 3-2. You need a majority.
You want me to go first on that, Mike?
Let Dustin go first once for this one, and then we'll let you go. What sets you guys apart? Like, what makes you different, or why are you? And it doesn't even have to be political ideologies. It could just be the way you implement things.
Well, I think it's more of integrity. I think we are not out of touch with the residents. We want to hear from the residents. We want you to come to the table, unlike the 4 for Philipsburg, who would rather lie to your faces and tell you that you agree with the 13% when it was 11.
Right. Can you? All right. Along the tough question line. So the 13 and 11%, 2% that adds up.
Mhm.
Can you give me another example of something that they might be saying that is misleading or not
here's
truthful?
okay. So here's the other thing: the magical dream team Councilman Clark and Kennedy sit on that.
Right.
No updates, no nothing to council. Everybody was out of the loop. They made decisions, whether they were in the town capacity or not.
Right.
Never gave the residents any inclination of what was going on, nothing. And now we're in the boat of the
You're
magic.
talking about the 300,000?
Correct.
Okay, so the town has a CFO and the town has an attorney.
Correct.
And you're saying that, well, I don't know if you're saying that. I'll ask you if this is what you're implying, that outside of the purview of the CFO and the lawyer, the monies were moved.
I'm not saying that. I'm
Okay.
saying that you had 2 council members that sat on this committee
Right.
that never looped the town into anything, you know, made decisions as they sat on this committee. Once again, you didn't ask for input from anybody.
Right.
You know, you just did what you wanted to. And
So-
that goes back to their
Integrity, I
motive.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
If when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You know, I'm not going to tell you something because it's an election year. I'm going to follow through. You know, and that's
And if you fail, it's not for lack of trying.
Correct.
But you didn't
And-
just
and
blow
that's-
smoke of somebody's.
correct. And that's the biggest issue is like, I'd rather start somewhere and it not work and have to pivot
Right.
than just say, well, I really want to do this and then not do it,
Okay.
which is really what
Okay.
and
Fair enough.
what other sets us apart is we all come from vast different backgrounds.
Right.
You know, I think I'm the young, I'll be the youngest if reelected on council,
How old are you?
33.
Okay, that's good. Young blood is good.
So, you know, and we all come from different backgrounds. You know, Pete has a police background and tons of experience. You know, you have Ed who sits on there who used to, you know, work in government and things like that. You have Tim who was on school board, who coaches athletics and things
Right.
like that. Then you have Rich who's a historical society. So we're such a melting pot, which is what the town of Philipsburg is,
right.
that
Definitely.
that our team has expertises in all these different departments that we're going to be able to work with the administration to make Philipsburg better for the future and next, you know, millennials and things like that, because we can't continue to keep doing the same thing and expect different results.
That's called a sociopath, I believe. That does the same thing over and over again and
Wow.
expects different results. What about you, Pete?
We have no political bosses. I can swear before God, some of the stuff I've been reading, that they're indicating that we take marching orders. We do not. I do not. What I decide is what I decide.
I just found out now that you don't want me to have boxing 2 times already. I'm not sure how I feel about that right now. I don't, you know what? You're not going to get this. Let's just talk to Dustin.
But I told you the truth.
Yeah, no, listen, you know,
So we have no political bosses telling us how to vote, telling us what to do. Do I take the advice of our town attorney? 1,000,000%. He's the attorney, not I. Do I take the advice of the chief financial officer? Yes, I do. He's the expert, not I. What do I think of our new VA? It's the greatest thing that we did.
Correct.
The greatest thing that I do. He knows what he's doing, and you go under advice. When I go into
boy, was that a mess. Let's not even go down that rabbit
that
hole.
was a mess for a while.
Mhm.
The 4 months that we didn't have any was backlogged. So the continuity is more important for the voters, the taxpayers, and the people of Peterborough. If you go out and you make a change, I guarantee you in a year you'll regret it. This candidates running right now are so diverse that you've probably never seen it. Like, will we disagree on things? Probably. They don't have number one, they don't have the experience I do.
Right.
You know, you have to be guarded and careful what you do. You have to be careful of the people. And anyone that comes to our meetings, you have 3 minutes to talk as a
Right.
resident.
Well, you want disagreements, though. You don't want 5 people.
No.
Yeah, but
Like-
here's the
You-
thing
you-
about the difference, and not to cut Pete off, is we might have disagreements, but at the end of the day, we can walk away and say we're still cool.
Right.
You know, we don't hold grudges and
No.
we're not holding things against each other. It's I might not have seen it from his perspective or from somebody else's perspective, and that's what really is the defining moment of our team. Is we all have different perspectives, but at the end of the day, we can be united on a front.
And on another point, Mike, you had 2 new people to politics coming on board. So that speaks volumes for them to be interested and the support of the leaders who run the town, the workers that work inside City Hall. They look, as you well know, You get an agenda. The council president sets that agenda. Here's the way I work. I'm a councilman. I'm not the CFO. I'm not the business administrator. I'm not the fire chief. I'm not the police chief. So my goal is what they recommend is what I put on the agenda. Now, I know there's talk, some people don't like what we call walk-in an agenda. I don't believe in the grass growing more than that high. Get it done.
Right.
There is no tomorrow with me. Get it done. And so we walk them in. Well, every person on council knows you get the last minute, you read it, you could question it, call them up. And it's moving smoother now. I mean, they had a lot to learn. BA does a fantastic job. And a lot of the people don't understand that I'm not blasting the state of New Jersey the way they run, but they wouldn't work for me.
Right.
They wouldn't work for me, right? There's always a change might be coming. There
Well,
might be
November's
this.
right around the corner. Who knows?
Well, and
Hopefully.
and another thing that sets us aside is that we understand that we're legislators.
Legislature.
We're not day-to-day operations like the administration, which is the mayor
Right.
and the BA and all that.
Well, that was going to lead to a question I was going to ask you both, which is there a way, because if you pay attention even a little bit to what's being said on Facebook, and that's kind of like, it's a necessary evil. It's how you're finding out what people think in the town. I mean, some people come to community meetings, and I guess that's maybe why you wanted to do that citizens advisory.
And it's going to be twofold. So it's going to be like roundtable meetings where everybody can come.
Right.
And then there's going to be the 2 reps from each district to work on initiatives and things like that.
See, I don't understand why that would get any resistance because
Because they're going to say that it's a political move, that we're going to be able to stack boards. And you know what? It's not going to be the
how
case.
do you choose the 2 from each place? How does that
Any
happen?
resident can apply, and then
Okay.
it'll come before council and the
Okay.
mayor, and we will go through them.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to.
Okay.
I at the end of the day, we're gonna try it.
Right.
If we need to pivot, if we need to move
I hope
things,
so because
I'm taught. And I've only been here since February, so I literally came from the seats to the dais real quick, and I know that 3 minutes at a council meeting is nothing, because 3 minutes goes very quickly,
Right.
especially if somebody's responding back to you. So
unless you do what I did when I went haywire the one
Just
time.
filibuster.
I was just like, you're out of order, you're out of order. No, I get it. I've been to council meetings,
Right.
but so for a little more versed in politics, I enjoy it. But from the cheap seats, I would never want to run. Or God bless you both, because it's you're not, politicians are like looked at like car salesmen, stuff like.
Mike, don't talk about car salesman. I did it for 2 years.
All right.
So one thing is
dentists.
one thing I can say is like, I wanted to be in politics. I went to school for it. But what goes on in Philipsburg is not politics. It's political parties that interfere.
Right.
Okay. I want to make a difference in this town. And if this is the avenue that I have to do it, then that's the avenue to do it. But you should know, I'm not going to be there just for a photo op. I'm not going to just show up. I'm going to do the work.
Right.
I'm in town hall probably twice a month working on different initiatives and things like that, because it's every person has to be involved in the process.
I was going to ask you after the show if you wanted to go out and take a picture in front of my fence that says Philipsburg and
We
shake hands.
can
But no, I
if
don't
you
want
want
to.
to. I'm just
photo
like,
op. I mean,
listen,
it's okay.
I think that's what hurts me right now is like, I've been volunteering for Old Town Festival for 10 plus years now,
Right.
but I don't go there and be like, hey, I'm out here volunteering
Right.
like some of our counterparts do. Oh, I was at this ribbon cutting. Oh, I was here.
Right.
You're taking away from, I'm not doing this because I want a photo op. I'm
Right.
doing it because I want to give back to our community.
I think most people, I mean, if you're just not even have to be a critical thinker, but I think most people can see the difference between like someone who's just showing up for a photo. I hope. Because that was going to be my question.
Because optics is everything. And if you posted on Facebook, oh, I was here, I was doing this, then unless people do the research and like you are an educated voter who does this research and things like that, they would just take it at face value.
I will tell you a funny story. I will not name names like Pete does. We did a lot of work out here. If you're from Philipsburg,
Listen,
totally
I am
changed this.
lifelong resident.
All right, so you know what that used to be.
Correct.
Junkies, people
Yes.
changing their cars, drugs,
Yes.
assaults, everything.
It literally was an unused parking lot.
Now it's,
It's
a lot
beautiful,
more than a
right.
parking lot. Because
Correct.
we live a memorial, we have events here, we have all this stuff. Well,
Hey.
my question is, how do you think you get to the residents, the disgruntled ones, or the ones that, well, most of the world is just clickbait, read the headline, don't read the story. How do you get them to understand the things that you're doing and why you're doing them? How do you reach them? How are you gonna? What's your different? Is there a new plan or a new way?
I'm probably the only council person that gave his personal phone number to the meetings. You have a problem? Call me.
Right.
I'll never put your name as the complainant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big boy. I'll go to those department heads, whoever, the mayor, and I'll state your case, but they'll never know your name.
Right.
Because I honestly believe in that. And from some of the people I've helped, a lot of them, they don't want retaliation. I really don't care about retaliation. Through my years being on
Neither
school
do
boards,
I, clearly.
being on council, school boards through my career, it was in April, had front windows shot out. I've had 2 broken windshields. I've had a side door window broken. I've had a flat tire. I've been through the worst of the worst. But there's one thing I forgot. We just paid out over $600,000 of taxpayers' money because that other party tried to accuse 2 fine gentlemen of illegal doing. And
does it rhyme with Fulper and McVeigh?
Oh my Lord! Are
this
you
is all public knowledge?
Are you a future fortune teller?
It's all public knowledge.
So
I mean, it's
when the voters,
what a horrible thing to happen to somebody over some.
When Philipsburg voters decide, do you want more of that? Now you want to hear about an 11% rate? Where do you think that $600,000 came from?
Right.
That could have been fixing roads. Mm-hmm. That could be putting up more parks. That could be doing those various other things.
I don't care what side of the political ball you're on.
No, wait.
If somebody gets.
Wait, Mike, I want to go one further. So one of the now listen to this. One of the resolutions was to hire a law firm. I'm going to go slow, to recoup the monies that the town spent out. Now, I'm not a lawyer, to those people who caused the harm. What's wrong with that? If we can get individuals, whoever the case may be, to pay back the town for what we spent because of their mistakes,
okay, so
that's a good thing.
If I understand what you're saying, is the town had to pay $600,000
for one change. That was for one person.
Bobby.
That was for
Frank.
one of
them. Don't go that way.
Well, okay. The town paid the $600,000 out, and now you're looking to recoup the $600,000 back to the town's budget,
right?
Which could be used for parks and all sorts of fun stuff from the people that you believe are the ones that caused.
That's why we have lawyers.
Those issues
that caused those
now,
issues.
Now, don't they? Do those people, when they're acting in the course of their political or whatever their positions are, don't have any sort of qualified immunity?
I have no idea.
Like, can you?
So it's just for. I think Pete's getting to is like, we're looking into it.
Okay, yeah,
like
there's nothing wrong with that.
The worst that happens.
We hired the attorneys.
Correct.
Okay.
They're looking into it
to see if you can recoup
now.
the money.
Mike,
let me any fiscal responsible.
Correct, because we should. Because the taxpayer should not be on the hook.
Let me ask you a P-Bird question.
Uh-oh.
Do you think any attorney takes a case without winning?
Well, plenty of attorneys take cases without winning, but they don't take the case if they don't think they can win.
There you go.
Right.
And most of these attorneys are U.S. attorneys, former U.S. attorneys.
Okay. All right.
So we're getting the top of the crop.
Right.
A crop of the top, whatever way you want to call it and split it. Right? Why would people oppose a council supporting them to bring their money back that they spent? It makes sense to protect the people. That's why you're there. Like Dustin said.
Well, as long as you're not spending $500,000 to get back $600,000, just a couple of dollars, and you got to take a shot.
We spent $10,000.
Yeah.
What attorney?
That's a good ROI if you get back $600,000 on 10. I'd take that any day.
Would you take it anytime?
Sure.
It's better than going
14 black.
I won't mention any casinos. It's better going to any better than buying a lottery ticket right now.
Yeah.
And these sort of things.
1.7 billion. I mean, I don't.
Oh my God! Thank you for reminding me. I got to get my tickets on the way home.
I told my brother to get mine.
I'm buying P-Berg if I win it.
Well, I always say, like, everybody's like, I always say, because my mind is, I'm mental. I'm like, that's a lot of FU money. Like, that's a lot of money. Like, oh, you don't like the way I do things, and you've been busting my chops for 10 years. I'm buying the property on that side of your house, and I'm putting it in a jail, and I'm buying the property on that side of your house.
Yeah, based on taxes in New Jersey, I think it's after all the taxes after Uncle Sam gets the cut,
taking it in lump sum and not over the 30
taking
years.
the lump sum. I think it's $438 million.
How crazy
Still.
is that? Out of 1.7 billion,
imagine?
you only get 400. Not only 438 million. You get a third of what you should have gotten.
And you'll
That's
probably
less, 4,812. That's
You
less.
should probably
you'll
have more
probably
boxing events for that kind of money. I'm just saying.
you'll probably walk away with like 330 after you file taxes.
And then
So-
I'm
I'm putting a Ferris wheel in the
No,
parking
wait,
lot
wait,
across the street when
Mike,
I win.
I think the town of Peaburg's assets are like 560 million. I'll take that price. I'll buy half of Peaburg then.
Well, I know what I was going to say before when you were talking about the Facebook and all that stuff. How it's necessary. I had someone approach me, and they're like, "Oh, can I take a picture? Let's take a picture in front of that fence." When we first did it,
Mhm.
and it got like 950 likes.
Wow.
It was a lot.
Good.
And then they came back to me and they're like, 950 likes, 950 votes. That you win elections in Philipsburg with that kind of action. Hey, when's the next thing that you're gonna do? I'm like, slow down, cowboy.
And that's the bad part about it. It's like
And I don't think
take the things that you can get with a
Right.
grain of salt. Like, if somebody offers it and you take it, take the good and the bad that comes with it. Don't
Right.
keep looking for the next big thing so that it helps you.
I'm just like, you want to take a picture? Let's take a picture. Democrat, Republican, I don't care. We have the events here. I invite everybody all the time who comes,
Right.
doesn't come. Both Clark and Kennedy have been to a lot of the things that I've had. They were here for my 9/11. They were at the boxing and a few other things that we've done in town. So, again, I think it's people over party,
Mhm.
but when you also can't ignore what the people
Correct.
are saying or doing.
Well, and it's
you know what I mean? It's
it's
like, well, that's not good.
when I introduced the Citizens Advisory Board,
Right.
they were like, "Oh, well, we already have it." I'm like, "Yeah, it's 2 people for a land use board," and they voted no for it.
Yeah.
So it shows that they don't want to hear the residents' voice. They say that they're out there talking to the residents and that they're in tune with the residents, but at the end of the day, you voted no to bring them to the table
Right.
so that they could have a voice. Because 3 minutes is nothing.
It doesn't hurt. Yeah. Well, so to
Mike,
get-
let me say this what Dustin just said about the voice for the people. We did rent control, right?
Mhm.
shocking from Republicans because that's not something that Republicans would normally
Exactly.
back.
That's not a Republican thing,
Right.
right? But we're about 40 to 60% rentals in a small town.
Right.
Okay. Look at these people
Is that
now.
counting? That counts Section 8 in that 40 to 60%. Section 8 is rentals, right? That counts in that.
No, that's a different program, I think, but don't quote
Okay.
me on that.
All right.
Okay. Now they voted against that. Well, who are
They
most of
meaning the Democrats.
the Democrats? Who are most of the owners of these properties? Do they live in the town of Philipsburg? No. So why are they protecting the rich and those who have when we now have homeless in this town and the rents are going out of control? And prime example, one day last week, I'm going to Walmart on South Main Street. I see a couple. I've never seen this in the town of Philipsburg. I've seen it on shows and that news. 2 people going through a bag of garbage for food.
Horrible.
I turned
Sad.
around. I'm not a rich person. I'm not really, really religious, but I am religious. I go home. I get a Walmart bag and I put some water in and some crackers and that they could eat because they didn't have nowhere. Any person in Peaburg that's running for anything, school board, anything, if you don't have the heart to help them,
Right.
and you're coming from a party that's supposed to help the poor, then what is missing here?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What
I don't
are
think party
misreading?
matters if you have Republicans back in.
No.
I was shocked when it first came out. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool that they're because that's
So-
breaking away from what your party is, and you need party support to run when you're running for elections. That's a pretty ballsy move, and I thought a good one.
Now, listen to this, Mike. So some people said, well, they don't vote. I'm not here to help people who don't vote or vote.
Right.
I'm here to help everybody that I can.
Correct.
Okay. If it were up to me, we have really no facility for the homeless
No.
Now,
And not easy to do. It's
It's-
a lot more complicated than
it's
people
very
think.
complicated.
Yes,
But how in your heart of hearts, no matter if you're running for office or not running, let people go into a garbage bag and take food out? Again, it wasn't done for political reasons. They don't vote.
right.
They told me their history. I don't want to hear people's history. They were in trouble with the law. I don't want to hear that. They needed food.
Same approach when you do a charity.
Well,
Like
it's
when
just-
we're doing charitable events, I don't care if somebody supports BLM. I don't care if they've been arrested 15 times. I care about the need
Mhm.
that they have. They're human beings.
Correct.
And they
That's
need
correct.
help. And if you can help, you give them the help.
And that's the other thing. Like it seems like, and I've noticed it since February, is the empathy for the town of Philipsburg, the compassion that everybody has for one another is coming back to this town. They're not looking down on people.
Right.
They're not, saying, "Oh, you live over there, so you can afford it." It's everybody is going back to the way it used to be, where you checked on your neighbors and you worried about the people on your block, or you saw somebody in desperate need and you reached out your hand to help them.
Right.
And that's what we really need in Philipsburg.
Compassion.
Correct. You need compassion and empathy.
Well, Mike, here shows you how Philipsburg is changing. A former town employee sued the town when that individual worked there, and now doesn't work there. She has a state job, suing the town again, right? Where are we going as a community? People want to keep suing the taxpayers of Peaburg? Enough is enough.
Right.
Enough is enough. It's time. Randy Piazza is doing a great job. They can go after him all they want. He's got the guts, the intelligence, and he did it. He did it, right? When you go up there and you see what they're doing, and I've said this to our town employees, I would not want their job.
Right. And listen, in all fairness, I am friends. Randy Piazza is my friend, right? I've known him for 4 or 5 years now. I've gone out and had drinks with him. I've gone out and we've had dinner together. But just because I support somebody or I like them does not mean I cannot be critical of them. I've
Correct.
told him on many occasions, like, hey, man, I see that thing, and that might not be the way. That's just my opinion. I would say that to him on policing. If you were a Met fan, like, oh, I don't know if I really would bat. I don't know if I really would bat, or Yankees, right?
Yankees.
I don't agree that you think that Judge should be playing right field. I think he should be a DH and not get hurt. We can have disagreement, and of course, political stuff might be a little higher or more intense,
Mike,
but
I-
you should be able to talk to each other and
Right.
say,
Correct.
hey, come on, man.
And here's the thing, and that's not critical. It's holding people accountable
And
for their
he
for
is-
their
I'll-
things.
And I'll tell you this. And listen, again, I don't want to become interview myself.
But
I'm just saying how I feel. I've dealt with him before he was mayor,
Mhm.
and I've dealt with people before him that were in positions of power.
Correct.
And I've had conversations about things that were important to me or the charity in the town. I'm not going to say too much. I'm not going to give too much behind the curtain. But I will say this: is God is my witness. Never one time, if Randy's name, Mayor Piazza's name, I'll put a little respect on that name. When Mayor Piazza's name would come up in conversations with others who I was friendly with, it was MF this and that's no good and this is da 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 and he's not going to be good. And again, I can't vote. I have no sway in anybody's opinion. People probably go the other way if they hear what I say. They want to go the other way. And I would talk to Randy, Mr. Mayor Piazza, and I would say da 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 da, and he's like, Mike, I don't care who. I will work with anybody. I will. And then I'm like, well, that's pretty easy to say when you're not the mayor. Then he becomes mayor, and I see it for myself.
Correct.
Open door. He will talk
Absolutely.
to anybody. He's not afraid to apologize if he was wrong. He stands out in front of what he believes in.
Mhm.
All things as a human being are more important than anything else. And if you're a good human and you can be a good, politician, mayor, leader.
But he's
The
I
core.
think in the last 3 or 4 administrations, he's the most approachable
Right.
as well. And he's not going to tell you something. And if he needs to get more information, he'll get it to you. He follows through on anything that he acts on, and he says, "I'm going to do this," or if you bring something to him and he has to work on it, he does it.
Pretty good for a part-time mayor, huh?
Well, Mike, I'm
I
glad
think
you
it's
brought that up. What mayor has been up there 8 hours a day, every day?
I was being sarcastic. None.
None. Okay, now not defending the mayor, I just tell it the way it is. Look what we walked into that should have been done in previous administrations. Okay, so now when the feds are on your case for the sewer plant, you're a cop. You're going to go against the law. You're going to get threatened by a federal judge that says you don't update it. You're going to get fined $30,000 a day.
Right.
So people of Peaburg, we are defending you. We started that WIPA program so that we don't get that. You talk about bankruptcy. If you didn't follow that, we would get bankrupt. Now, one of the things was our opponent says, can we put it on the ballot? Guess what? You put that on the ballot and it gets turned down.
And
You
then we're
cannot
stuck.
bring it back for 10 years. Now, in the meantime, like, you're going to get fined,
Right.
right? So when it comes, there's decisions we're going to make that a lot of people aren't going to agree with, but we're making them on behalf of professional advice. And here's what our dad always told us. If you're sick, you go to a doctor. If you don't listen to him, don't go to him. If you get in trouble, you go to a lawyer. If you don't listen to him, you're on your own. So you elect people that you want to represent you in the best way possible. This town, look at the leadership of the other party. There aren't too many poor people in that party anymore, right? So naturally they can say and do things they want. But Philipsburg's at, they say 19% poverty. I find that hard to believe. There's a lot of people on South Main Street that are homeless, right?
19% below poverty.
19% is our poverty level in the state. One of the last reports I saw
In Philipsburg.
in New Jersey.
19%.
In New Jersey, you look
Oh.
at some of the statistics, and I hate to use numbers because they always change. When they were doing like the area sewage plants of the worst, guess where Philipsburg ranked? 15 in the top 15. We're a small community.
Right.
Okay, I won't blame administrations on the past to where we got. Everybody was looking at the golden egg. But Randy inherited all this.
Correct.
So you have to give him credit that he had the intestinal fortitude to meet it head on, a council that supported him, and getting it done.
You mean like when he got elected and he was
Well, like, you have
mayor
to-
for a month
but
and they
you-
were complaining about stuff?
Well,
It's like, that's
yes.
from the previous administration. That's
Well,
not, I didn't.
Now, I can honestly say this. I'm not going to just single out a department. When's the last time you've seen our parks look this good? When's the last time you see our streets when it snows, and I hope it never snows, so clean and plowed? So they are moving. They have different ideas. You know what the worst thing about Peaburg? They do not like change.
Yes.
Change is coming. If you,
Toby's is gone. Screw that guy in the windmill. We don't want this. We
All right.
Well, I think it's more of like they want
And
change
how many
yesterday.
people have moved into Peaburg?
Right.
It's totally changed. I mean, even your male people, right? You don't know. I don't know any. I know maybe 3 people in the post office. They're all different.
Right.
Most of them don't even live here anymore.
I know my mail lady. We love her.
Make sure you give her that envelope without the supervisor knowing it.
Listen,
How many people don't work in the town
out
of
of
Peaburg?
30 North Main, we take care of everybody.
Mike,
It's
how
still
many-
1987 here.
Mike,
I appreciate all workers, civil service, the men and women in
How many
DPW, fire departments, all the
I
workers.
know you do. You guys do a great job.
Right.
I really,
Anything I can
I
do to
thank you
help.
from the bottom of my
Thank
heart.
you. Thank you.
But how many people in Peaburg do not work in Peaburg? They're traveling.
Right.
So it is a changing town. And I just hope look, our council meetings are open to everybody. You get 3 minutes to talk, right?
You got to come back 7 times though to get your point across.
That's okay.
That's what's
It-
hard about
If you can't recap it
which
within
would be
3
better
minutes,
if-
you're lost
why
in the
you
shuffle.
Have that thing.
Correct. If you have a citizens advisory board where you can, come up with solutions and actually be heard for longer than 3 minutes, then
One of the good things that I like that Mayor Pietro's doing is his videos, and I'll tell
Yeah,
you why.
they're
I
good.
have a very close friend. I grew up with him. We know each other since we're 5 years old. He's a senator and a mayor, Brian Stack. He's a mayor in Union City, and he's a senator. Okay, He does what you talk about. Everybody has his phone number. He's given, and you might say, oh, these are cliche things or whatever. He's given out the turkeys at Thanksgiving. He doesn't need to do that. He will be the mayor and a senator. He's in Hudson County. I don't know if you know anything about Hudson County.
Yeah.
Like New Jersey, it's hugely democratically controlled. If you have to win an election there, you need to win the primary. You win a primary, you're the mayor. You win your primary as senator, for the most part, in Hudson County. Mm-hmm. He's constantly doing videos, setting up seats and having meetings right out on the street. Like Randy seems to be doing that. Mayor Piazza seems to be doing that. It's in the embryonic stages. It's a great idea because you guys or girls, whoever's running, you have to me, this is my opinion now, you need to figure out a way to bridge the gap of what people think, but what's really happening.
Correct.
And the people, whether it's you 5 or those 4 in these last couple of months that reach the people in a real way.
Correct.
Where they don't feel like they're being talked down to or getting 15 different answers.
Nope.
Because I would say this to you. What was the answer as to why the Democrats voted no to, if you know, the rent control? What was the reason? That would be the first question I would ask if I was a voter. Oh, you voted no for rent control? Now hold them accountable. I'm not saying to do this to them. I'm saying if the Republicans did something I didn't like and I was a voter, I'd say, but I'm saying this one, why did you vote no to rent control? Why do you not want people to be able to afford that still live in a town to live in a town? And they should have a answer that's clear and concise and not a diversion. Do we know why they voted no to rent control?
I don't.
I don't either, but you also have to remember, council meetings are not a back and forth. They're not a question and answer. It's you get to go up there and talk for 3 minutes. If we choose to answer you, it is our prerogative,
right?
But it's not written that way.
Right,
I would choose to answer them as much as I could, because if this is their only avenue of talking and asking questions, then we as elected officials should be providing answers if we know.
Because all I hear about council meeting is the microphones didn't work. Why did the camera shut off at this time? Blah, blah, blah. And it's never anything of any substance. So I get it. I understand it's 3 minutes and it's not, you don't have to answer. It's your prerogative. But if I'm a voter,
I know
I want an avenue, or I want to know why the person who I voted for, because people voted for them.
Correct.
And put them in that position to speak for them.
Right.
Now, again, surprised that the Republicans were the ones that brought forth the rent control. I would think the people that are, and I'm not speaking for any voters, it's just my opinion, that the people that are Democrat, that voted for Democratic council people, probably voted for them because they felt like their ideologies lined up, and those people would support rent control. Because over time and history tells us that, and it's changed, I know it,
But one thing I've learned with the Democratic Party is it's do as I say, not as I do.
I really hope they're watching this, and I hope I get a call.
Listen, I hope that they watch
them
too.
To come in here, because I have a lot of questions for them too, and listen, this one would precede theirs, and they would see how I am, and I'd be the same way with them as I am with you guys.
Right.
I'm trying to be as if I was a voter, and I could ask you guys things and find things out and understand questions of why. So we're running into dangerous territory. It's getting late, right? I think your driver's sleeping in there right now. Here's my last question. You ready? For both of you. What message do you want voters to remember when they head to the polls? So this is you talking to the voters right now, as they're going to go to the polls in less than a month and a half. Why should they vote for you without saying anything negative about the other party? Because I don't care about. If they want to come on and talk, they can.
Can I go first?
Yes, of course. You like the microphone. You like the sound of your voice more than like the sound of my voice, I think.
Sometimes I do.
That's good.
But you're good. You're better than I, though.
Yeah.
Voters, Philipsburg's on the move. Even your downtown business association president said more businesses are open up in downtown now in the last 3 months. That's a good positive. If you decide to make a change now, are you prepared that nothing's going to be moving forward with Mayor Piazza's administration? Secondly, you have the best thing going with a police department, the largest one in Warren County. The streets are now safer now than ever before. Crime has happened. People have been arrested. Most of them are not from the town of Philipsburg. Educationally, I served on the school board for 4 terms. You've got one of the best school districts, in my opinion, not only in the state of New Jersey, but in this country. You look at your parks, ride around like I do. They're underutilized. They're beautiful. Use them. I don't like to pinpoint different areas of town. Hillcrest, you're finally getting a playground for your young kids. You pay the most taxes, you deserve equality, you're getting it. There you have everything that will want young people to come in. Let's take the bad weather, winter. You've never seen so many plows out in the streets of Petersburg and Salt like you've seen the last couple of years. Condos that might be coming up in the future. Our employees, our town employees, are doing the best job possible. They're really good. Therefore, I seek your vote, and I'll tell you why. We're going to keep moving forward. The other team has never brought anything to the table. Thank you very much.
So I would say to the residents, if you're going to go out and vote, there's been a lot of changes that have happened in a short amount of time with this new administration and council. And if we don't continue that momentum, we're only going to go backwards. And we can't afford to go backwards. We can only afford to go forward. And to do that, we need the Take 5 team, in November, so that we can continue on the new park in Hillcrest, the redoing of Mercer Street Park, the updated to all of the new municipal building infrastructure that we can get done, and as well as keeping the residents informed of what is going on. So we can't go backwards, we have to go forward. And that's the only way Philipsburg's going to move forward.
If I may add, we'll only do what the
If you
taxpayer
didn't, I would have
can.
been disappointed.
We will only do what the taxpayers of Petersburg can afford. And that means lean things to do, we will do them. But we have to keep this town moving forward. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. And listen, fellas, thank you both so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. It was very informative. All jokes aside, my invitation goes out to, tell me that I'm not doing this on purpose. What's the name of them again?
The 4 for Philipsburg.
The 4 for Philipsburg. You are all invited to come on here. 4 of you, 3 of you, 2 of you, whatever. Same format. I'll write some questions up. We'll ask some questions. If something piques my interest or something I don't agree with, I will say and I will ask questions. And it's, I don't have to do, I'm not NBC News. I don't have to do equal time. I can have all Republicans if I want. I can have all Democrats, all independents. That's why it's called the Blue Podcast Network that I own. I do what I want. But I really would like to have, this is the most important, we live in a republic, but it's the most important thing in our society are the elections and the people that we vote for and put into office. And for me, at least my opinion, more local, where we have a lot more control over what happens in our lives than, at the state or, national level. We should be involved. And I don't know what the turnout usually is. And so do we know that number? Does anybody know the number? Like what percentage of voters turn out?
I don't know the actual.
Because I know like you get into 400 or 500, you win. That's enough for you to win.
It
right?
depends on the election year, and it really just depends.
It'll be around 1,000.
Okay.
1,200.
So before we go, I have one other question. I want to understand this. There's 5 spots open.
Correct.
There's 9 people running. The top 5 people are the ones that get in.
So it's split. So there are 3 4-year terms and 2 2-year terms.
Okay, but 5 open spots.
Correct.
Okay.
So the 2 that win the 2-year terms will go. It's really hard to explain. I guess not really, but it could be a split. It could be anything.
So say the 3. So there's 3 people that are running for a 4-year term.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's 3 from our side, and then there are 3 from their side running for a 4-year term.
Okay, so the 3 and 3 that are running for the 4-year term.
Correct.
There's 6 people running.
Correct.
3 open spots.
Correct.
Top 3 get those spots.
Correct.
There's 2 spots below that are a 2-year term.
Correct.
There's
And there's
one
3.
person running
There's
on that
3
side,
running for that
and
spot.
2 on this side.
Correct.
So there's 3 people running for the 2
2
spots.
spots. Correct.
Okay, got it. So 6 people running for 3 spots, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. 3 people running for 2 spots, 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat.
Correct.
So the top 3 vote getters of the 6 get their 3 spots, and the top 2 vote getters of the 3 get their 2
Correct.
spots. All right, people. That's very important now.
It is.
You know what? In a town that this, you know, it's not the smallest town, but
No.
in a town of 16,000, every single vote
Matters.
counts. And if you're any of those people that are on Facebook complaining about what you do like or you don't like, I hope you're a registered voter, and I hope you is early voting. When does that start?
Yes, early voting.
When does that start?
I
It's
forget.
like the end of October.
Right. So early vote. Go to the polls. I personally
Vote by mail.
I go to the polls. I'm an old school guy. I like to
I
see
early
my.
vote as well.
You early vote?
Yes.
At a poll, or you?
Yes.
Okay.
No, early vote
you
at a
early
poll.
vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to, but I physically like to drop the paper.
Correct.
Or
And
fill
then
it out.
fill out the machine and
Yeah.
touch the screen.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes I get Christmas cards from like 3 years before, and I wonder if my vote. Here
I-
comes my vote. Oh, too late. He's already a mayor for 3 years already.
Right. I vote by mail. I want to keep my post office going.
Right. I love the post office. I love the postal employees, and I love my postal lady downstairs. All right. So nothing else. Everybody's good.
No, I
Appeal
want
to
to
the
thank
voters?
you and your staff for having us
Right.
tell it like it is.
Right.
And I appreciate it. And again, this is a very important election. Voters, take the time and come out to vote your choice. Peaburg's on the move. You don't want to change it. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll just say this to the listeners that are watching right before we sign out. Besides this podcast called Politicast, we have Uncensored with Mike the Cop. We have the Blue Room podcast. We have a sports podcast. We have a podcast about nursing. What else? We have a cigar podcast. We're looking at doing one for correction officers and a female police officer perspective. Anybody in town, I should be careful about this now. If anybody in town has something interesting, I put this out on Facebook before, a local business that's getting off the ground or something that's interesting that they really want to talk about, they can message us on Facebook, let us know. And if it's something that we feel like we can put on the air without getting sued or going to jail, we'll do it. But I'm really interested. What I'm really interested in is local Philipsburg. I mean, any other politician that wants to come on. The elections are in November. And then Politicast will probably go bye-bye for a while. It'll be as important. But the other part of it, the townspeople, the charities, the businesses, interesting stories, something someone's trying to get off the ground that they can't do or they need a voice. We are local. We are in Philipsburg, lovely downtown Philipsburg, right by the Free Bridge. Give us a message. And if it's something that we can do, we'd love to have you on the podcast. Fellas, good luck.
Thank you.
I'm excited about this election. I love politics. I'm so into politics. This is why I do this podcast. I enjoy these conversations. And I really hope that, and this November, because it's a gubernatorial election too,
Mhm.
you're probably going to have more of a turnout. There's probably going to be more votes. So whatever that means to people that maybe have not voted before or that are independents or whatever, get out there and vote, because just like the bowling alley, I will say to them, if you can't show me your bowling shoes, and you can't show me that you went bowling, I don't want to hear about the bowling alley. If you don't go out and vote and try to get someone in office that you feel has your ideologies, and if town starts going another way, shut your mouth up because you didn't go out and vote. And we all agree, but you don't say that. I say that. Get out and vote. All right? All right, everybody. That's a wrap for Politicast for the episode 4, Mo, right? 4 of them under our
Episode
belt.
4.
Episode 4. Blue, you were a great, amazing co-host. You did so much for us today. I want to say thank you so much. Was she even on a camera one time, Mo? Put her on one time.
No, he kept
Put
it
her
on
on
you.
one time. Let me just say this. This is Blue Dawn, local Philipsburg resident, non-law enforcement, who we would not be able to do any of this without, right?
Right.
She doesn't get, this is volunteer, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I try to help her out here and there when I can, but this is all volunteer work. She does all our reels. She's our engineer. She makes all these kind of things happen. So, we are embedded in Philipsburg. We're a part of Philipsburg. We want to see Philipsburg move forward. Is that someone's political thing? Philipsburg forward, move forward. I don't want to attach myself.
Oh, here we go.
Right?
Make
I
a
don't-
shirt.
I don't want to attach. Did I just make up a
Forward
thing?
Philipsburg.
No, that might have been somebody's
Philipsburg.
already. Was that somebody's before? What is yours called again? 5 for Philipsburg?
Take 5.
Take 5. Okay.
Like the candy bar.
Oh, all right.
Because we want our residents to take 5 and
It
take
could've
5.
been-
Listen, whether
What
it's
about 5 for fighting? Remember the band 5 for fighting?
I
I like
Philipsburg?
payday better. I mean, for
we always
candy bars.
Oh, I was a whatchamacallit.
we always say, like, whether you want to take 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years, whatever you want to give us, we're here
Right.
to listen for you.
Right.
Thank you, Mike.
All right.
Outstanding.
Listen, I think you're a fresh perspective. I hope you guys both, well, I can't say who I hope wins, but I feel like you guys are, thank you for coming. Listen, you're here. You came in. You
that's
put
true.
yourself in front of the microphone. Didn't know what the questions were going to be. I feel like that is a message of itself. You're in front of the camera for 2 hours, and the only thing that we didn't do is obviously we don't take phone calls and we don't take questions on
Listen,
Facebook.
it might be something that we might have to do later on.
Down the road, if
Listen,
that's something that you guys want. I don't, the first one, because, I wanted to avoid the people with an ulterior motive just calling in to try to get on the air and say something silly. I wanted to get to the nut and bolts and the meat and potatoes of what you guys stand for.
Right.
The phone call one, maybe we could do that down the road. Oh, one last question. Is there some sort of debate happening at some point?
No. I wish there were. I like the debate.
See, I would like to do like even if it's just the Republicans, a Republican forum type thing where like we can talk, but it's really going to be
So open forum, like in an auditorium, you fill it up and people get up and they get to ask a question.
or it's moderated or whatever. But the current proposal is not something that we're going to do.
Are we allowed to know what that proposal was?
Go ahead, Dustin. I didn't pay attention to it.
So we got an email from
Mike,
somebody.
honesty.
So-
Yeah, I love it. Listen,
Somebody in the community
beautiful.
wanted to do a type debate forum-ish thing.
Right.
But and I'm not going to use names, but
Sure, no,
that
just
person,
the concept, the idea.
in my eyes, cannot be neutral.
Oh.
Therefore, I don't feel like that person should be moderating it.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, this is an open forum. If you guys want to come back down the road as we get closer and take, like, if something comes out where there's questions about something and it's a good way to get out to the people, we're not Joe Rogan.
No.
I'm not promising a million views, but we're averaging about, on a show like this, 4,000 maybe we'll hit. On our bigger shows with bigger guests, 50, 60, 70,000.
Wow.
But I would expect that for this show inside of Philipsburg, because, there's people, let me tell you.
Do you ever do your show on the road?
Yeah, we do outside shows too.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you a little tip about these kind of shows. There's the people that watch live,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see them. And then after the show goes into repeat, if we did 2,000 today, by the end of the week we'll be at 5,000. Those are the people that tune in, but you can't tell
Gotcha.
who they
Right,
are.
because they don't want their names to be seen. So if they watch live, their names will show up as watching. But if they watch it as a recording, like if they watch it tomorrow now, their name, they won't be seen watching it. So your stalkers aren't going to be watching live.
Today,
Everyone
they'll watch another time.
they're gonna watch it tomorrow and
then what we'll do for you, which is what we do for everyone. So I don't want to, again, save your letters and all your BS about, you're picking sides. We will do a very condensed short reel, 60 seconds to 90 seconds. We do that for every guest that's ever come on here for their socials.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get them out to you and you can put them on your, do you know what do you have? MySpace? What do you
I have no space.
You have no space. All right, fair enough. See, he's a lot quicker and sharper than he comes on. But we'll get you those reels and you can get them out there too. And like I said, open to any other entities that are running for anything in Warren County that want to come on, reach out to us and we'll get you on the air. All right.
Thank you,
very
Mike.
much. Thanks. That's a wrap.